Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to talk about, more about technology. If you have used any sort of technology ever, you know that a crippling weakness of any technology is heat, and more specifically, heat dissipation. Throughout the years, the cooling methods used for semiconductors have evolved to meet the increasing demands of power and efficiency. Initially, passive cooling methods such as heat sinks and natural convection were employed to dissipate heat from the semiconductor devices. As technology advanced and the need for higher power density and performance arose, active cooling methods like forced air and liquid cooling were introduced. However, in recent years, there's been a shift towards more advanced cooling solutions, such as liquid immersion and two-phase cooling. These technologies right now are put in place to meet the high demands of high-performance computing in data centers. Researchers are also exploring the use of novel materials and techniques, such as diamond and boron arsenide, to improve thermal conductivity and heat dissipation in semiconductor devices. There's been devices such as Peltier coolers that are electronically controlled, that have a hot side and a cold side, that have been used in computers but have found a use in other places. Now, let me just explain what a Peltier cooler really is. It's a thermoelectric cooler, and it uses the Peltier effect to transfer heat from one side of a device to the other, with consumption of a lot of electrical energy, depending on the direction of the current. These are used on CPUs very rarely, more in the commercial settings, when you need something that is really, really flat and going to be really, really efficient. Another use case for them is in laser diodes, but we're still using traditional semiconductors made with traditional silicon. And these semiconductors are microscopic, absolutely tiny, but they also produce a lot of heat. So imagine having a material that is more efficient at dissipating heat, something like graphene. Graphene is incredibly strong. It's stronger than diamond. It has a better conductivity than copper and a higher thermal conductivity than diamond. It's a material that's extremely flexible, which makes it suitable for a wide range of applications, and it can be stretched up to 20% of its original length without breaking. And graphene is also transparent. It is also incredibly light. So with all of those puzzle pieces in place, graphene can be used to make flexible and transparent electronics, such as touchscreens, solar cells, wearable devices, and the list can keep going on, because these are things that we have right now. Imagine the things that we can build with something as versatile as this, because graphene can also be used to improve the performance of batteries and supercapacitors. It can be used in drug delivery, tissue engineering, and biosensors. It is a natural filter for water and air, and to convert waste heat into electricity. So I should probably explain graphene a little bit more. It is a single layer of atoms of carbon arranged in a hexagonal lattice pattern. It's incredibly thin, flexible, and strong. It's got excellent electrical and thermal conductivity, and it's so thin, in fact, that it's considered a two-dimensional material. So now that you know about that, it being this ridiculously thin, really, really hard to manufacture material, like that's the biggest issue with it, is the production of it at a large scale and at a reasonable cost. Because they can produce it and they can get a large quantity of it, but it's going to be like $30 million to make it. So researchers are working on developing new methods for producing graphene and finding ways to incorporate it into various products. 2 days ago, the Georgia Institute of Technology introduced a graphene semiconductor. And in their paper, they talked about how graphene's a thin sheet of atoms, but the big graphene problem is that it doesn't have a band gap. And a band gap is a gap between the energy levels of the electrons in the material. Now, a band gap is important for making electronic devices because it allows us to control the flow of electricity by switching it on and off. For example, silicon, which is the most common material used for electronics, has a band gap of about 1.1 electron volts, which means that we can use a voltage of 1.1 volts or more to turn the electricity on and lower the voltage to turn it off. The big difference with graphene, though, is that it has no band gap, which means that it is always on and we cannot switch it off. So this makes it really hard to use graphene in electronics because we need to be able to turn on the electricity or turn it off to make logic circuits, memory devices, sensors, and so on. Scientists have been trying to find ways to create this band gap in graphene by changing its shape, size, or chemistry, but none of these methods have worked very well. They either make the graphene less conductive, less stable, or less compatible with other materials. Recently, some scientists have discovered a way to make a band gap in graphene by using a special kind of graphene called semiconducting epigraphene. And semiconducting epigraphene is a layer of graphene that is attached to a crystal of silicon carbide, which is another material that has a band gap. So this semiconducting epigraphene has a band gap of 0.06 electrovolts, which is smaller than silicon, but still enough to switch the electricity on and off. Semiconducting epigraphene also has some very high mobility, which means that the electrons move very, very fast through it, which makes it good for making fast and efficient devices. Semiconducting epigraphene is also very strong, stable, and can be connected to other layers of graphene very easily. So this is a promising material for making nanoelectronics, which are electronic devices that are very small, very powerful. This can be used to make sensors, transistors, logic circuits, memory devices. They're going to be faster, more energy efficient than the ones made out of silicon. They can also be combined with other materials such as metals, insulators, magnets to create more novel devices with different functions. And the final thing I want to talk about is batteries and how graphene has the potential to revolutionize battery technology in a bunch of different ways. Like I've already talked about, it's an excellent conductor of heat and electricity, which can improve the performance of batteries. It's lightweight, strong, flexible, which can make batteries more durable. And one of the ways that graphene can improve battery technology is by increasing the surface area of the electrodes in a battery. This would allow more charge to be stored in the same amount of space, which could increase the energy density of the battery. This could lead to smaller, lighter, and more powerful batteries. Graphene could also help with the safety of batteries. It is highly resistant to fire and explosions, which could make batteries safer and more viable to use in transport. Overall, graphene has the potential to significantly improve technology as a whole. Its unique properties could lead to smaller, lighter, more powerful, and safer electronics. I honestly think it is the future. And simple building block technologies like this are just that. They're the first step. I'm hopeful that somebody a lot smarter than me will be able to figure something out that will revolutionize and change the world as we know it. Technology excites me. It's the one thing in life that I know is always going to be changing. So if I don't like where things are heading, there's always going to be another avenue somewhere down the road. So yeah, technology is cool. I'm excited for the future. I hope that things are able to work out in the people's favor. But that's about it, guys. This is Warm Sponge signing out. Peace.